This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 394, Quadratec.
Tonight, Aaron gets into the Christmas spirit, Coy finds religion, and makes money four-wheeling, and Ben watches important sports.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben. And welcome to our guest tonight, Eric Ammerman from Quadratec. And welcome to the show. Did I say that right, Eric?
Yeah, nailed it.
Oh, sweet.
You were so close to saying that preamble right without screwing it up.
I know.
was checking the whole way, like last second. You
I bet you by the time we get 500 episodes in, he'll almost have it down.
Almost. I've been on what? What was it? A couple weeks ago was my 500th episode that I've edited for podcasts because I edit a handful of others besides this one. And it's like, wow, that's and I still mess up. Oh well.
Oh well. Well, as soon as you get it figured out, I'm gonna redesign it and change all the words in it and start all over.
Yep. I'll keep messing it up.
Yeah. Well, what have you been up to, Ben?
Well,
actually, you know what? Hold up. I'm gonna save you for last because you got something special to talk about.
Okay.
So because you're last, I'm going first because Coy has to go in the middle on this one. So what have I been up to, Aaron? Well, I'm glad you asked, Aaron. I bought some tires.
What'd you go with?
Yep, bought some tires. I bought the Baja Boss, which are Mickey Thompson's. It's the one that Coy really wanted but couldn't get in time when he had to buy tires.
I'm glad you made me promise not to cuss on this show. So thank you.
I bought those tires and we'll see how they do. I don't know. I did have to buy the metric version. I had to get the 315/70 17s, not a 35 12.5 17.
So they're 34.4 inches.
That's what the internet says is 34.4. So I don't know. Do I really have true 35s?
Just put extra air in.
You want me to go out and throw a tape measure on my Mickey Thompsons and see where it's at?
I'm gonna put them on and I'm gonna inflate them to like 90 psi so I can get a little more height out of them, and then we'll measure them just to see
Stretch
if I got
them out
true
a little.
35s on my truck. Yeah. So and we'll also like jack the truck up so that the rubber's just barely touching the ground, so it's not compressed at all. So we're gonna make them 35s. So besides buying tires, I'm in the Christmas spirit because I finally got my Christmas present from Ben. It's a 3D printed ornament that he gave to Coy several months before Christmas. And I saw Coy probably 5 times between when he got the ornament and when it got to my house. So we just kept on forgetting to get it here. So I'm super excited. It's really cool.
I was confused how you got that, but then I just remembered that your wife and daughter came over for my daughter. So I'm assuming my wife gave it to your wife.
Yeah. And then it was in my wife's purse. Then it was in my wife's purse for like a week before it showed up on the counter. I'm like, where did this come from? And then I had to put 2 and 2 together. So yeah, I finally got my Christmas present. Ben's is still sitting over here in the corner till I see him next. So we'll see. I'm just too cheap for shipping.
So who bet what on whether Jeremy got his patches or you got that ornament? I don't remember how the bets were laid.
I don't know. Well, I think they weren't in Jeremy's favor.
No.
Since we were in control of the patches. And then I went to a daddy-daughter dance on Saturday with my daughter. I know that's not off-road related, but had a really good time. I dressed up. Look at that. I was wearing a bow tie even. So it was a really good time.
You know, you should wear that at SEMA when we go. I want to see you wear a bow tie.
A bow tie?
Yep. I'll wear a bow tie too.
The problem is that
be hidden behind my beard.
The problem is that like you have to like have that top button buttoned and it doesn't let any heat come out of that shirt top.
Oh, never mind.
It just builds up.
It gives you kind of that cool casual look when you loosen it, you know, like after the wedding when you're dancing, you know, you loosen the bow tie. I say on the McGrew Trail trip, we do a formal day for the wives. We all wear suits. Well, we will. I'll do it. I have an extra suit.
That's a great idea.
Well,
It's in July, so I don't know.
That
It's
would
a
be
great
Olaf.
idea.
I mean,
It's
it
an
would.
idea.
July in Southern Oregon. Yeah, we'll just all go to Goodwill and buy some clothes ahead of time. Yeah. Well, Coy, what have you been up to?
Well, I sold some tires.
Oh,
there's an
you
earthquake in my house.
didn't sell them to me.
No, I tried to give them to you. Yeah. So you shunned a gift that I tried to give you, but I just made a cool $250. So
That's good.
I tried to explain this to my wife. I actually made money off-roading. So, because if these were just regular highway tires, I wouldn't get anything for them.
No,
Right?
not at all.
So if you actually do the math, I bought these tires for like $1,500 4 years ago, ran them, and now I got $250 back. So that made them like $1,200. That's the same as highway tires.
Yeah.
Simple math.
Simple math.
Perfectly good
I mean, it's
logic.
tire math.
Yeah, follow the
Yeah.
science, people. Follow the science.
Yeah. And you recycled. You did something great for the earth.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't let 'em
also,
on fire, so-
I found religion just today because it's a chance of snow tonight. And my boss said, wait by the phone in the morning to see if we're working tomorrow. I've been praying nonstop. So
Oh no, Coy.
I love snow days so much. I get angry when I see the buses not running and I'm going to work. I'm just like, no, if you guys don't go to school, I don't go to work.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I was talking to my boss today. I'm like, all right, so if it snows, I can't work. I've got kids that are going to be home and mom's sleeping and I can't have them waking her up. So I've got to sit here and yell at them to be quiet.
Yeah, I want to pull that one too, but I drove a 10-yard dump truck home from work. So if it doesn't show up at the job and everyone else does, there's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
other phone calls being made.
Yeah. It shows right now on my weather app that it is supposed to be snowing at our house right now. So
Mine's saying 11 o'clock tonight till 7 in the morning. I just need.
I
it
don't
to
have a
stick
window.
little.
I don't have a window in my podcast room to look.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all I've been up to. Ben, you got anything cool going on?
Well, let's see. Where should I start? So I have a shop update. I was worried that my garage that I'm building, was my permit got pushed back because I had the whole imaginary septic stuff. I had to pay $4,000 to move. So
Mhm.
I actually got an email this morning that they finished the engineering phase and I'm approved. I am permitted. I can build my shop.
Woohoo!
So they're sending me the paperwork with the plans, the permit, and all that, and I just have to do the ground prep. So Dennis is going to come over with his little backhoe thing that he just got that he's been waiting to use. So we're gonna scrape off and level out the backyard. I might rent a little mini bobcat to help speed up the process, and then he's got a dump
Oh, I
trailer.
can't wait. Oh, I can't. Please do. I can't wait for that. You need a bobcat in your house so bad.
So happy with your
It's gonna be
Big
sideways in a
foundation.
ditch in your front yard.
Yes, it would be.
Don't get too excited,
you-
Aaron. Don't get too
You're
excited
gonna-
because right now I wanna say, and the commenters can jump in. Let's throw out the betting pool. Whose shop gets finished first, Ben or Aaron's?
Oh, I've got bids out right now for garage doors, so I'm making headway.
My garage
But-
doors are paid for.
But you don't know, yeah, his are paid for and part of his
Yeah.
deal, and someone's also building his for him. So yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you
Ben's
have
gonna
like
be
a year
trying
and a
to
half
drive
head
the
start.
Ben's gonna be trying to drive that bobcat up on that stump in his front yard to do the old tire on a stump picture.
The poser shot. Ooh,
The poser
yeah.
shot, yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's gonna tip over and
probably will.
they're not gonna figure out.
The only
gonna
thing
try to
better
figure out
than
how to
that,
get
Ben, is
deposit.
I don't know if you know, but you can pop mad wheelies with skid steers. Just want
Yes,
you know.
Ben, you should.
And even better, if
Yeah.
you lift the bucket up right, you can do like a reverse wheelie, a jack stand as we used to call them. And the bucket,
Yeah.
you got to set it right. You can use it like a reverse wheelie bar. You can't see anything behind you. So clear it
It's
first.
okay.
I
That's
just
okay.
just a heads up. I don't want anything bad to happen, but I just want you to know you can just pull some sick wheelies.
No, I will.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So
I
so
think
that
what
was-
Coy is saying. I think what Coy is saying, he wants you to watch some YouTube videos, kind of figure out how to do the tricks, and then do some tricks. Get the GoPros out there and show us how it's done.
All right.
And if you can rip a really sweet wheelie and then midway through, you push one lever forward and one back and you do a spin move,
Yeah.
that's how you know you're good.
Let's see. Outside of that, I watched some very important sports this weekend. For those of you who didn't know, KOH just happened, King of the Hammers. So I
Yeah.
watched our friend John Matthews blow his transmission, which was very.
Is that what it ended up being? It was either his transmission or his gearbox. His transfer case.
He said it was transmission failure.
Okay. All right.
So unfortunately, he did not finish. But it was a pretty grueling race this year because out of the 30 for that class, only 20 of them finished. So a third of the rigs broke down or did not finish. So
Yeah.
and I only saw one EV car on the list. I'm trying to think. And then there, did I not upload it? There was one of the rigs actually got taken out with helicopter this year. So that's your $5,000. Was it UTV?
Yeah.
$5,000 AAA right there.
Didn't somebody get taken out with a helic like Robbie Gordon or somebody get choppered out last year?
Yeah, there was a rig that got taken out last year.
I think they should make the rules against that. Like, you brought it in, you got to drag it out. None of this calling a chopper.
Get to the chopper. No, I like the chopper.
Every man does not bring a chopper. So if it's going to be every man class, you got to call a buddy and drag your stuff out of there.
You got to limp it out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. And then the other thing is I just started working on a project is Earth Day is coming up here soon. And it's on a Saturday, so I figured why not make it like a global thing, like, hey, go out, clean up your favorite trail on Earth Day. Just kind of that whole tread lightly, pick up after yourself, don't be a dirt bag. So I tagged our friends, Gambler 500, Sons of Smokey, Tread Lightly. I hit all of them up, so hopefully it'll gain some traction and we'll see more people out there. I figure Earth Day is the perfect day to go hit some trails, clean up some trash. What better time of year to do it? And I mean, there's not really
Earth Day.
Earth Day is Saturday, April
22nd.
Oh, I'm busy that day.
That's fine.
I got bad news for you, Coy. It's not snowing right now. I just checked.
Through the power
Looks
of
like
Jesus Christ, anything is possible, Aaron.
It looks like Budget Overland is on board with some trail cleanup stuff.
Right?
So,
I mean, what better time to do it than Earth Day? Because
absolutely.
I prefer that my trails not get gated off or my Forest Service roads or anywhere. Because I mean, at some point I'm gonna pull out the acetylene torch and start cutting them out of the way. And then, then we've got problems, and then I've got people barging in my door and shooting my dog, and I don't want to go that route. So let's just preempt.
Hypothetically, Ben, you would break the law.
Yes, hypothetically.
Allegedly,
but I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right now because they're not gated off yet. So let's clean up. And I mean, there's plenty of stuff local that everyone can hit that's not far away. So it's not that hard. YouTube stream is black screen. Try restarting, Josh. There's nothing on my end saying otherwise.
Yeah. And looks like all the other comments are coming from YouTube, and I'm guessing that they can see us.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they can see us.
if not, pretend it's a radio show.
There we go.
Eric, have you been up to anything in the past week or two off-road related?
Just watching King of the Hammers. Some friends of mine were in that race, so we were watching them. I don't know if you saw from the 4600 class, 4699 car, Jeremy Purick with Rock Crawler. He had a yellow, V8 swapped Wrangler JL that he was the only one in Everyman to make it up without winching.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And mangled his car. So, but he made it. He actually he did make it across the finish line at the end, but it was after they stopped timing. But he it screwed up the electronics. He's going to move to standalone after this year. It was the factory electronics when he went up and was on two wheels and slammed back down and finished going up Chocolate Thunder. The Jeep thought it had been in a rollover, which is logical because it felt like it was. So he kept having electronic problems throughout the whole race, and he ended up. I mean, I was tracking him late into the night, and it was like, he was moving it. It was tracking him at 3 miles an hour, but he limped it all the way out.
That's brutal, but he finished. That's what
he
matters.
finished. Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome.
So when he was, because it's several laps, right?
Yeah, two. Well, his class was 2. He was in the stock class, so he was 2 laps.
So when he broke, was he on the last lap, or did he just go by at 3 miles an hour and do another one?
No, he was on his last lap, and he had like 40 something miles to go when it broke again.
That's so brutal.
Yeah. So when he had last year, he had the same car, and he actually broke his collar. I think it was his collarbone. During pre-running, there was a guy in a UTV that had rolled, and he was helping that guy roll back over, broke his collarbone, couldn't drive his own car the next day. So he had Eric Miller stepped in and drove it for him. But so it was like, this year was like, I'm going to get to drive my car. It's running good. And yeah.
Damn it. I'm driving it all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's hammers. That's hammers for you. So
yeah.
And I actually haven't other off-road stuff. I mean, my Jeep's I haven't even seen my Jeep since right around New Year's. I lent it to a local trade school. There's some kids there that get really excited about Jeeps. No, so it's I've got
take it all apart and see how it works.
Well, we had the Philadelphia Auto Show was coming, so yeah, they do take it apart and break stuff, and then they fix it. But the Philadelphia Auto Show was coming. I actually spit a belt. My PSC power steering bracket was bent, so it spit a belt with my kids in the car, just running out to Home Depot. So it ended up going there. They worked on it, and then they had it in the show. They did some other maintenance stuff, swapped out my steering. But it's cool. It's like I like to lend it to them and kind of get kids excited about working on vehicles because they're high school, trade school kids that are just doing like Honda Civic oil changes and brake jobs. Like I want them to get something cool that they're like, wow, this is awesome. And then it's, in the Philly Auto Show, they were pretty pumped about it. So I should get it back this week. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I should check to see if there's a auto shop at my local high school here in this small town and bring my Nissan over there and have them fix everything that's wrong with it.
They'll do it, dude. They're happy to do it. They'll do whatever you want. Yeah, because it's it's better than some of these kids are going to leave and go into just small shops and do the same thing over and over again. So if they get to work on stuff that's like, my JK's on Ultimate Dana 60s and 40s and like all that. I mean, it's pretty serious. So it's fun for them to work on it and get excited about the automotive industry, and that's kind of where I want that to happen because we need more younger people coming up through the
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I think they're canceling more and more of those auto shops around the country. So yeah,
we got to have interest music programs though, man, because so many people grow up to be guitarists and professional flute players.
Kyle in the comments says that he gave his 64 CJ5 to his high school auto body, and they did the prep. They prepped the body and the paint for him. So it took him 3 months, but it gave him some garage space. So it's
cool. Kind of the trade-off, man. It takes a while because some of the kids are only there half the day. So this is like a trade school that I guess they go to early part of the day at the regular school and then come over here. At least that's how it was in my high school. I assume it's the same. It's been quite a while.
I did a similar program when I was in high school.
So it does. Yeah, it does take longer, but it's cool. It's worth it. And it's free labor. And also I know the guy really well that runs the program, and he's not going to let him totally. I'm going to screw it up way worse than they are. So, it works out.
In high school?
All the way through, actually.
Got me beat.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
And this month's patch is the Bootylicious Javelin.
Yeah, that heart is definitely got that heart's definitely got some
She's thick.
yeah, there you go. Thank you. I'm struggling for words. Yeah.
No, it's a good patch. I like it. I popped it out and I showed my wife and she's like, "Oh, I like that one. It's kind of cute." And also don't forget our patches, $13 shipped for the first one, 10 for any additional. And $10 each if you pick up in person. Just shoot us a message through any of our channels and we'll hook you up with a PayPal link. If you are international or not in the continental 48, hit me up. I'll get you a shipping quote and then we'll get you all set up. And that's the Off-Road Podcast patch and the Lumen Locker, which does indeed glow in dark. Because, light bars before lockers, right, boys?
That's it. Yeah. That's all we got on that. Do the next one.
Have
that
tire
button.
troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
Eric, are you familiar with the Colby valves?
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I've seen them. I don't have them, but I know of them.
Yeah, if you've got TPMS, does not work so well for those. But I mean, I've got them in my 4Runner. I love them. It's nice having something that's strong and easy to fix. And I know if someone loses one on the trail, pop one right in.
Yeah, I'm running in my JK. I've got Power Tank Monster valves.
Oh, there you go.
So they're super fun. If you've ever messed with those.
Oh, we've played with those.
Yeah, Jeremy has those.
I have to address Kyle Jeep Adventures comment here. He says he'd collect patches, but he has nowhere to put them on his Willys because it's all sheet metal. You go down.
Oh, Coy's broke up.
Oh, I thought that was just me.
Nope. I'm gonna guess that he says you go down to Joanne Fabrics and you get some sticky side tape, right? Is that Coy? Are you back?
Did I just drop or something?
Yeah, you dropped.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I said, yeah, go down to Home Depot. They make sticky back, self-adhesive, 300-pound hold Velcro. Stick that in any of your sheet metal, and you too can be a cool patch collector like us.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or like Ben was saying, go to Joann's, and I think you can buy it like by the large sheet, and you could do your whole hood like on the outside. You could be the first person with a patch hood Jeep.
I'm still waiting for one of those guys. So it's been talked about in I know the gun guys have talked about it a lot, and We Like Shooting is getting like a Velcro suit and wearing that around with all their patches. I mean, that would be
good. That'd be good for SHOT Show.
Wouldn't it? Like go around, oh, you got a patch here? Oh, boom, on me.
The patches will stick to your beard. Like you can just slap it to your beard and it'll stay.
It's not amazing though. It's not.
Well, I mean a real beard, not yours.
All right. Ben, hit the news.
Hit the news. All right. There we go. All right. So and Death Wobble, for the JL and JT guys, you may be able to get reimbursed for your Death Wobble issues. What is Death Wobble? That video is not up. It's when your vehicle hits a bump. If you've got like a solid axle, mostly Jeeps have those. You hit a bump at like 40 miles an hour, and it leads to a vibration, shaking in the steering wheel. You go crazy all over the road, seemingly uncontrollable side to side shaking, and they've determined after a lawsuit that you can indeed get paid out for your death wobble. Jeep's finally admitting to it. There's approximately 192,000 Jeep owners that have suffered from this death wobble. The 2018 to 20 Wranglers and Unlimiteds and the 2020 Gladiator fall under this. It's going to extend the warranty for 8 years. It's not related to loosened bolts, but determined by the steering stabilizer freezing up. So
I like Mark's comment here. Mark says hula dash girls love death wobble.
oh yeah, they do. But they're saying that you can file for a reimbursement through Jeep after the lawsuit that's supposed to be approved April 19th of this year. So
Can you imagine like back in like 1994 when like Jeeps had death wobble and somebody was like, you think in 2023 that the Jeeps will still have death wobble?
No way they would.
Like,
Right?
no, it'll be so bad. It'll probably be IFS by then.
Yeah.
Nope.
I gotta say, I had this news article picked out before I had planned for Quadratec to be on this show, FYI. So I don't want you to think that we're throwing Jeeps under the bus with with this news article. So
If every Jeep I've ever owned has had that, so it's not a big deal.
Wow.
It's part of the game, you know what I mean? But almost never is it the steering stabilizer. Almost never.
So what I found out is there was I'm in a JL group, and they were someone was talking about death wobble, and I'm like, oh, check the torque on your track bar and your steering and a couple other things. And someone's like, oh, it's the steering stabilizer. I'm like, what? That's a freaking Band-Aid. No, it's like almost never. Well, apparently the steering stabilizers are like freezing up and not compressing, and that's causing it. So yeah, they're fixing that, but not all the other problems that Jeeps have been plagued with for the past 30 years.
So they're ignoring the brackets that were miswelded too. We're not talking about that.
I imagine so.
Because that was a problem too. They were rewelding at dealerships.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I remember that. That was when
that.
the tails first dropped. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was bad. I mean, I don't run my JK. On 40s. I don't run a steering stabilizer. Like that's not the call. I mean, maybe they had a bad batch of steering stabilizers that did that, but there's something else going on.
I really think that we should make like our own lawyer firm. Have you or someone close to you experienced death wobble? You may be entitled to financial compensation.
Just run that ad at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Our new sponsor.
Well, our next story is also Jeep related. This one just came out. So this one is from Mopar Insiders, and it is the 2023 Wrangler Unlimited. This is a mouthful, by the way. The 2023 Wrangler Unlimited Con 20th Anniversary Level 2 from AEV has been announced.
It sounds
so. Yeah. So it is the 20th
Level
Anniversary
2.
Edition, and this is like the level 2. Yeah, that's one more level than level 1. And it says it comes with a number of new enhancements on top of the standard Rubicon equipment. It's got a new 7-slot grille design, beadlock capable wheels, an 83-piece toolkit, a triple hoop grille guard, steel bumpers, 1/2-inch suspension lift, red interior highlights, and special anniversary decals.
Those decals are very important, but that the toolkit's actually pretty nice to hear about.
Yeah, I'd love to see a picture Terry's asking if it's 392 or 4XE. It is for both. You can get it for both. So it adds the level 2 adds 37-inch BFG KO2s, a Warn VR Evo 10S winch, 17-inch AEV wheels, AEV 2.5-inch dual sport RT suspension system with Bilstein 5100 shocks, a 456 axles in the 456 gears in the 4XE, and Mopar performance wipers with integrated wash. I talked about those washers a couple months ago. What do you got, Coy? You're cracking up over here.
Mopar performance wipers. Like, does that sound like satire? Like, it sounds like an Onion article. Like, I can hardly even believe it's real.
They're real proud of those, man.
I know
it's an old GM design, right? They just took the hose and zip tied it to the wiper arm.
Yeah, it's like every old Kidworth is that half the times it comes loose and you spray it, it like whips around like a fire hose. Like, I just think
I thought that it wasn't just one squirter nozzle. I thought it was spraying from multiple up and down the arm.
It might be.
Same
technology, though, right?
Same
so
much more advanced. Yeah, I can't. How did they come up with this technology?
And they want good money for it too. It's not cheap. I think it was like $400 for it.
I thought it was $700. I can't remember, but it wasn't cheap.
So it also had. Toyota, we just add a third wiper in the middle. That way, yeah.
It also adds the AEV 700 series off-road lights, an AEV EX front bumper, AEV rear bumper, AEV front skid plate, AEV tire carrier, AEV off-road jack base, AEV ProCal snap module, AEV vehicle build plaque, and AEV steering dampener.
Well, that
I'm glad that they got that dampener in there. So it says that this.
I like how they changed the name of it, the off-road jack base. The word jack was originally at the beginning of that product, by the way. I think it was them when someone launched that product, right? And I don't know if it was AEV, but years ago it was the Jack off-road base.
No,
I swear to God, man. And then they rebranded it because of that. It made it to market, and then someone was like, "Hey, about that name, we can't do that."
There's no way.
Wow.
There's 100%. No way it made it to market.
100% made it to market.
Yeah, but
Coy, Google it real quick.
Like,
Coy,
look, don't say anything. Don't say anything. We're going to see how long it takes for someone catches this. And it just went to market.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So this exclusive upfit package creates the most capable Wrangler ever.
You're breaking up, Aaron.
Which is,
Here, I'll do it. 14.2 inches of ground clearance, 37.1 inches of water fording, 50-degree approach angle, 33-degree breakover angle, 43-degree departure angle. There's only going to be 150 made. Adds an additional $20,000 or $21,000, almost $22,000 at $21,983. And just how expensive are we looking at, Aaron?
I didn't do the math. I didn't see it anywhere in the article. So
I
didn't see it anywhere in that article.
I saw somewhere that it was slated to be the most expensive factory Wrangler at $110,000.
Yeah. So if just a shameless plug here, if you check out the Quadratec YouTube channel, there's a news video that is dropping on Wednesday where we talk about this and break it down in great detail. You can build that from Quadratec for a whole lot less than that. You don't get the badge and you don't get the factory warranty. But all of that stuff is off-the-shelf AEV parts.
I was going to ask you, like, even if we weren't using AAV and I just came to you with $20,000 in my Jeep, could you build it twice as good as this build or four
Yeah.
times as good?
Yeah, twice to three, I'd say,
Twice to
for
three,
sure.
okay.
Because I think, he has, our video host has the final numbers, and I think he talks about it in the video. This is all stuff that we actually built one. We did a build series last year that was pretty much this, with a couple different changes that we did, different wheels and some other stuff, but it wasn't 20 grand for sure. And then, I mean, part of that you're paying for the badging, the exclusivity of 150. And I guess the factory warranty, but you can do that to any. You can do this to any JL. That's off the shelf AAV parts that are available right now.
Nice. Mark asked if the breakover angle is between the front and rear axles, and yes, that's what your breakover angle is. You measure between the two, and then it's the middle, and that's where you get your degrees.
You measure
Josh
from where the
asked
tires
if
are touching the ground.
Yeah.
And Josh Staggs comments, is that an IFS Jeep behind me? Yes, it is. Thank you so much for noticing.
There you go, Coy.
So confused.
I spend so
that
much
Jeep
time
is so
every week
confused.
picking a background picture, and no one ever says anything.
Scott,
That's my brother.
hang on. This person has
my
the
brother.
same last name you do.
Sure does.
I just put that together, but he says that the jack off road base was real. So
Well, we're gonna
Boy,
have
I
to check
still-
his sources because he's related to you.
Well, he also
I
works in the industry, though.
Oh, okay,
I-
that's fair enough.
I still
He
want
works.
I still
he-
want Coy to Google it.
Yeah, he works for
Googled it.
he
I've
works for
been-
Tread
I've
Lightly.
been to that base.
Oh,
I didn't
nice.
need to Google it.
Yeah.
You've been Googling that for a long time.
No, say it. I've been to that base.
Oh boy.
And then we got a Twitch comment tonight. I just gotta point this out. Polar Knight says they love the show. It's a perfect evolution of beard growths, and I'm gonna guess that I've got the peak here.
I don't know if it's the peak or if it's where you have to start over.
No, I'm going full Santa this year.
I think he says evolution as in like closest to a monkey working our way to a human.
I just figured with my gray, it was the downhill slide. I figured it was one of you guys is the peak, and then they're like, oh, look at the old guy. That's great.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Well, our guest tonight is Eric Ammerman. You've heard him talking so far tonight, but he is the director of creative content at Quadratec. Well, I can't speak English, but it's okay. Hopefully you understand me. So, Eric, we got to start off.
Before you jump to the Fast Fives, I want to just acknowledge Kyle in the comment.
And
Aaron froze up again.
Question.
Kyle is asking Eric, what does Quadratec have planned for SEMA 2023?
No, I before I disappeared, I was going to say that we should save that for down the road. I just want to acknowledge Kyle that we'll get to his question.
We will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to start off with the Fast Five facts. So, new or old vehicle?
Currently, I've got a 2016 JK, but I have in the past had I had a 53 Willys M38.
There you go.
So I've had them all.
Which do you prefer?
The 2016.
That's fair enough. Summer or winter camping?
I'm not. So I'd say spring and summer. So I'm into backpacking, which I think is like analog overlanding.
There you go.
So I definitely spring and summer. I don't mess with camping in the snow, really, if we're being honest.
It's fair. Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
Rock for sure.
Favorite vehicle brand?
It's going to be Jeep.
I figured you for a Toyota guy.
Well, so here's the funny thing. My fiance has a 4Runner. And I love driving that thing around, especially in the snow. Dude, that thing's amazing in the snow. It's a 22 Trail Edition, SR5 Trail Edition. So,
and favorite tire?
Nitto Trail Grappler.
Ooh, we got a Nitto.
Yeah,
I think that's the first I've heard that one.
Really?
That is one of the first I've heard Nitto. We get a ton of BFG and a couple other brands. That is the first Nitto.
Yeah, as an East Coast tire, the Trail Grappler's killer. And
have you tried the G2s that they have now?
I did. So our SEMA build has the Recon grapplers on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done those, and I really like those for Moab and Nevada. They were great, and they're a great on-road tire too. But I don't daily drive my Jeep anymore, so the trails are awesome. I love them.
Awesome. And then any recommendations for someone new to off-roading?
I have a lot of those. I'll make it brief. I think the big thing is, man, to go with somebody who's experienced the first time. I don't know out by you guys, but here in Pennsylvania, also in Moab, in Vermont, we have this program actually called the Quadratec Trail Bosses, and they're instructors and industry professionals that'll take you like Kyle here in Pennsylvania with Off-Road Consulting will take you. He has 101 courses, 102 advanced stuff. And teaches you the right way to wheel, no matter what vehicle you take out there. He takes Subarus out there, a lot of Toyota guys, Jeep guys, everything you can imagine. But I think that's super important to know what you can do. And if it's not one of these instructors, go with someone who's very experienced. Make sure you're doing the right thing, and make sure anyone in your group, your entire group, has all the recovery gear, first aid stuff, tools that you're going to need between all of you. In other words, don't everybody bring a giant first aid kit. One guy brings the first aid kit, right? Everybody should bring their own power tank, I feel. But, some of the major stuff, you can just make sure everybody has.
Should everybody bring a Jack off-road base?
Absolutely.
I Googled that, by the way, Aaron. It was surprisingly mild. Like I was actually disappointed.
Okay. Yeah. My computer heard me thinking about Googling it, and that's why I froze and disappeared. Yeah.
So it was less about disappearing and freezing and more about like slinking back into the shadows, wasn't it?
Yeah. So how did you get started in off-roading?
If we're going in the super way back machine, when I was a kid, I had cousins and uncles that lived in Eastern Tennessee. And they had international scouts back then, because I'm pretty old. And but they would take us out, me and my brother, and we would just bounce around in the back of these international scouts where all my cousins were, bombing fire roads and trails and, just having a blast. There it is. There's the high lift one is named that. Yep.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
It's on Quadratec. It's available for
It's
sale.
out of stock.
It is a thing. That is the marketed name of it.
That is awesome.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you for finding that. But yeah, so we grew up kind of doing that stuff, and I wouldn't say off-roading with my dad, but he had some pretty sweet Toyota station wagons that he would take out, and he would drive it all over fire roads and take us camping and stuff like that. So the natural progression years later, got into Jeeps. I wanted to buy a CJ real bad when I was 16, and it was my money. My dad he's like, all right, he played along. He's like, we can try to find you one that's not a death trap. We're in the Rust Belt. We did not find that Jeep.
Yeah.
So I went other directions, but then, once I started at Quadratec, you can't be around this stuff all day long and not get into it.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, what's your most embarrassing moment on the trail?
All right. So one year at Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, we went out on a vendor ride, and it was a whole bunch of industry people, big crazy rigs, super built, and I was out there shooting video. It was the first day we got to EJS, so it was the first trail ride. Super excited. It was on Cliffhanger, and we go up like maybe a third of the way up the trail, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good vantage point to get this whole group coming up through." It's a nice little obstacle. So I'm going, I start climbing, I'm carrying the camera, my backpack, the tripods, the whole deal. And I step up onto a rock and rip my shorts. I mean, from stem to stern. Just the entire crotch blowout of my shorts. And I didn't have other pants with me. It was just an easy trail ride.
Yeah.
Like half day trail ride. What do I need? Why would I bring extra pants? Now I bring extra pants for that reason. So,
if you wore a kilt, you wouldn't rip your pants out.
Would never have had that problem. And you know what? Those were in the days before pants had the stretchy material in them, which I don't know. I'm a gentleman of larger carriage. I'm very excited about the inclusion of stretchy material in all my shorts and pants.
Yeah.
I don't know how we lived.
The Carhartt Flex, and I think Dickies have like a Dickies Flex or something like that.
Even Levi, you would be hard pressed to find pants that don't have that now.
Yeah.
It's just a straight rip off of maternity pants, and I love it.
Oh yeah, that's the best, dude.
I've got some Duluth pants that they've got a stretchy waist, and it's like, oh, these are fit you without a belt. I'm like, yeah, still wearing a belt.
You step that up and you get an elastic belt also. And then you're in the zone. You're in the money.
Oh no, I have those pants with the elastic waist, and it takes about a week, and they're all just stretched to the max. I'm not sure if I should lose weight, but
just get new pants, man. It's so much easier.
I just get a good belt. Yeah.
What's your favorite place to wheel?
I mean, for sure, Moab, Utah. I do more. I know this sounds like a weird thing to be like, meh, but I do more. I probably wheel more in Utah than I do in Pennsylvania. Like I told you guys before the show, I have 3 kids, and I've got a house that has a million projects that need to be done and stuff going on around here. So, getting away to go wheeling in Pennsylvania is a little bit tough. The closest place we have is about 2 hours away. But whenever I go out to Moab or out to SEMA or anything like that, like, that's what I'm there to do. So I'm there, full week. I'm just wheeling every day, all day long. So it's kind of my home away from home. And I love wheeling there.
How far a drive is Moab from where you're at?
Actually, one of the guys that was commenting, Terry, is one of our guys that he makes the drive with our gooseneck trailer.
Oh wait, you have somebody haul all the stuff out and then you fly in?
I fly in. Again, 3 kids. I can't convince my girl that it's cool for me to go away for 2 to 3 weeks.
That's terrible that you don't have to haul it. You mean you can't convince her? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's but I miss out on some good adventures, man, with those guys. Terry and I, one time we went to go pick up one of our SEMA Jeeps in Michigan, and we figured out that our GMC pickup that we use for the gooseneck trailer, the dashboard is exactly long enough for a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza. So now whenever we're on road trips, we find a Little Caesars and just put that pizza right up on the dashboard and just like savages eat pizza.
There you go.
Why wouldn't you?
Dude, it's the best. It's the best road trip food.
It's like level 3 heartburn.
Terry's the Sherpa. Love it.
He is. He drags those Jeeps all over. I mean, I think they did over 10,000. No, it was well over 10,000 miles last year. I forget what it was, but it was, out to EJS and back, out to SEMA and back, and then all over the East Coast. So
do you like
him and
tip
Matt.
your driver, or like how does that work?
Yeah. I buy margaritas, when we're in Moab. Stuff like that.
Yeah, he should definitely drink for free. That's crazy.
Yeah. Over 12,000. That's what it was. Yeah, but they're awesome, dude. Those are our road dogs, man. There are 2 content writers, and so they figure out a way to make a story out of just the mundane driving a trailer out to Easter Jeeps. So like they stop at goofy rest stops and put on hats, and or they found some stuff to like tie it into like Tread Lightly stuff that we do. They're awesome, man. So they make it's like a legit work trip for these guys. Like they're writing the whole time they're gone.
That's cool. That's really cool.
That's good.
Are there any places that you haven't gone to that you want to still? like
Yeah,
wheeling
man.
destinations.
The bucket list for me is Rubicon Trail. I've still not done that.
Really?
Really? You haven't taken the SEMA truck to Rubicon?
No, not yet. We're
So
going to talk
close.
about that. It's close when we're out there, but we usually we'll leave SEMA and then go to Moab right after to shoot all the content there.
Well,
Gotcha.
You got
But I
to
think
do it
1
where
year.
you shoot it in the Rubicon instead. It's like, hey, we're at the Rubicon. Why not? Right?
Yeah. Well, but we've been going to Moab for so long, like we know everywhere to go, and if we need to go to Rubicon, we got to find people to help us through it. Like I'm not going to go into the Rubicon without anybody that's done it. You know.
Yeah.
That makes me feel
Makes
guilty
sense.
because I could literally get to it in one day. It's like a 12-hour drive where we're at. I've never gone. I've done
It's one that I just it's there. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when.
Well, I think it's time we talk about the business. So did you guys start out as like a catalog business, or was it online is where you started?
No, so we started in 1990. So we're, was it 20 or 33 years into this thing.
Yeah, I don't think Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet.
Not it was still in buckets. They hadn't figured out how to put it in the tubes.
The tubes, yes, the series of tubes.
Series of tubes. Yeah. But so yeah, it started, and it's if you've got time. So our founder Ted, he had a Wrangler YJ Sahara, and he needed a soft top for it, and he couldn't find one locally. So he found this little company called Best Top, in 1990, and gave him a call and was like, "Hey, I need a top." And they're like, "Hey, we don't sell to customers. Like, get beat. Like, get out of here, dude." And so he was like, called back, and he's like, "Well, no, I have a business." And he didn't have a business. He just wanted a top for his Wrangler. And they're like, "Okay, guy, you have a business." And he's like, yeah. So let's have that top. And he's like, "Well, there's a minimum order. Like, you can't just order one top." And he's like, "Tell me how many, what's the dollar amount? Tell me how many tops I'm getting. I'll send you a check." And the guy's like, "Okay, sure, whatever." So whatever the number was, 510 or whatever, he said, he's like, "All right, give me the total." Then he like borrowed money and wrote a check and FedExed it next day out to Best Top. And the guy gets a check and he's like, calls him back. He's like, "Oh, you're serious?" And he's like, yeah, totally have a business. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And that's literally how it started 33 years ago.
Wow.
So what he started doing is he goes like, "Well, if I can't find a top, there's got to be people all over the country that can't find a top too. We're in suburban Philadelphia. Like, you figure you should be able to find a top, and there's guys in Iowa probably don't know what to do." So he started, he made a little catalog, and it was black and white and 30-ish pages, or probably not even. It was just some tops. He started running ads in all the off-road magazines, Peterson's Off-Road, Four Wheeler, all the stuff that was around back then. And it was just a little black and white ad in the back that said, "Do you need a soft top for your Jeep? Give us a call. We sell them cheaper." That was the whole thing. And it just spiraled from there. And it was just him answering the phones. And he eventually brought on a couple employees, and it trickled along and now we're right around just under 200 employees.
That's amazing.
I assume you're still doing catalogs too?
Yeah, we still do it. So we do catalogs quarterly. And we have some filler catalogs too we send out, but it's we do a book that's for JK, JL, and Gladiator, and then from TJ and down. So TJ back through Willie's stuff is in the other catalog. We kind of got to figure out the sweet spot of that. You're not going to put a ton of CJ7 and Willie's parts into the print catalog. We still have all that stuff on our website. You can still get all of it, but that the actual real estate for print, you got to go with the stuff that sells, that people want. So
yeah, I've had numerous catalogs back when I had a JK. Now I'm a Toyota guy, so fortunately don't really need much. Though there is that jack off base. I could use that.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we still sell them, still send out catalogs quarterly, and it's still draws business. We actually did a market survey, and ever since I've been in my position and even longer, I would go like, no one wants catalogs, man. No one of my generation cares about catalogs, especially people younger than me don't care about catalogs. That's what I thought for so long. And then, the catalog guys at our office would be like, no, they do. I promise you they do. And we did a market survey and it was like, oh, millennials even want catalogs. They still like the catalog. So catalog's not going away anytime soon. We spend more and more on digital every year, but the catalog's not going anywhere.
It's like flipping through the Toys R Us toys catalog.
Yeah.
Just after Thanksgiving when it comes out, it's like, okay, I want one of these. My Jeep's gonna look sweet with this.
Yeah.
Nope, I get it.
Also, give me that Ghostbusters Lego set, dude. Gotta have it.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars Death Star Lego.
Oh yeah.
So do you sell more light bars or lockers? First of all. But then jokes aside, what is like the most popular items you sell?
Yeah, so sadly, I mean, it is probably the light bars. I wish that it wasn't the light bar. I wish I could tell you that no, man, it's Jeep guys want lockers. It's not that. But you got to think about like we sell to every segment of the Jeep world, and that goes all the way from like you're just your daily driver commuter. Like I don't want to say soccer moms, but you know what I mean. Like that user of a Jeep all the way up through hardcore wheelers and overlanders. And every little segment in between, and like a light bar, it's such an easy thing, right? To slap on there, and then in 6 months you're gonna go like, I'm gonna take that off, because I never turn it on. Like my Jeep when I bought it, had a light bar on it, a 50-inch light bar on it, and I was like, it looks pretty cool. It was backlit in blue. It's a blue Jeep. I think I turned it on 2 times, jokingly, just trying to blind my friends. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. What's that?
That is one of the most important parts of having a light bar, is blinding your friends. And when people high beam you and you don't have your high beams on, you're like, oh really?
Yeah,
this is the game we're playing.
Give them the beams.
Yeah.
You want to flash your high beams at me? Here you go.
Let's talk about lumens over here. But yeah, so if you total up all those segments, the lighter end of the spectrum is got more people in it. But the hardcore wheeler guys are still there. I gotta say, probably of our most popular products are always soft tops, man. It's always been our bread and butter because it's it's a wear item. If you own a Jeep long enough, you're gonna have to put a couple tops on it, probably. So
patches work too. But
yeah. No, I know they don't. They do not work. I assure you. Right?
I don't know. I've used a lot of duct tape on mine.
No,
I'm
but
sure you did.
I have to make a salary, so no, it does not work at all.
Exactly.
That's not a good way to do it.
It does tear off after a while.
Yeah. But we've got tops that are replacement tops. I mean, you can get full tops. You can. We do have repair windows, like when your windows shatter in the cold and the snow, like we sell them all, like you can get all that stuff. So our soft top category is huge. We've been doing a lot with recovery gear stuff too. And some of our sub brands, we have, Rescue is one of our sub brands. We do a lot of in-house bumpers. Carnivore is one of our brands. Lift kits, wheels, tires, soft tops are like, that's where it's at.
Are you seeing more of the hardcore wheelers, or is it more of the overlandy guys for customers, or is it kind of just a hodgepodge of everybody?
It's a hodgepodge of everybody. We're on the East Coast, and land access is a little different than it is for you guys. Like we don't have the public land access that you guys do. So we see a lot of rock crawlers. I mean, the places we wheel are big, giant off-road parks. There a lot of them are reclaimed coal mines. So it's all this land with trails and stuff that are already there, and anthracite coal and granite and stuff like that to rock crawl on. But we're seeing, we sell worldwide, so we see the overland stuff picks up out west, right around this time of year. But out east, it's like there's some overland people like my brother's got a marine oven in the back of his JK, and so he makes, dude. If you guys ever out east and you want to go off-roading with someone, I suggest him, because he has the marine oven, and he'll put White Castle burgers in there in the morning. And if you're behind him on the trail, you can call him on the radio and go like, they smell like they're done. And then you pull off the trail, you have some White Castles, and then you load it up with corn dogs or pastries or like whatever. He made cookies one time in the back of this thing, dude. It's the coolest. So you overland guys should get into marine ovens inside your rigs.
Going to Facebook right now. I'm going to friend Scott.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And he also works for Tread Lightly, so he's a good guy to know. But yeah, so we still see a lot of rock crawling customers, but overland's picking up. We have our own Lost Canyon is another brand of ours. That's all our overlanding stuff is going in there. We've got a rooftop tent. If you guys need a rooftop tent, we got one.
So I noticed on your website that you guys have quite the useful and underrated tool, and it's known as the Knowledge Center.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's in your Knowledge Center that people
Yeah.
can't just find by typing in to their Jeep group, what size tires can I run with no lift?
Yeah. Well, it's so all of it. So we have the Knowledge Center, and we also have our content-based part of the website, which is called Torque. And so we're actually in the middle of revamping the knowledge base section of our website. And it's not like we're getting rid of it. We're just updating it. Some of that stuff was written when TJs were the newest model. So we're going back through, and we've got everything in there from oil capacities for every Jeep, trim levels for every Jeep you can imagine, tire size calculators, gear calculators. Just it's like all the stuff that we've been using for years for marketing, for customer service, for sales. We put them on these pages to share them with the community because it's such valuable tools. I mean, there's literal things that I need to look up that I just go there to find it. Like stuff I don't have to remember it. I just know that it's there, and I can just go like, how many quarts of oil is it? I don't remember. Is the big bottle and the little bottle? Well, I'll just look it up, and we've got all that info there. So it's valuable. I mean, it's awesome stuff. We're super into the education aspect. At least my department is, it's content-based marketing, but it's also, we want to educate the community, educate the customer, and make sure they're making the right choices. They're doing the right things. They're not, overfilling their oil when they do an oil change or grabbing a Fram air filter. There's nothing wrong with Fram oil filters, I suppose, but there is, and you shouldn't be buying them, just throw them right get a better one. But we want to make sure everybody's, as informed as they can be before they're making decisions.
I hear that you guys offer scholarships. Is that still a thing? And how does that all work going to be involved?
So our scholarships. So we're mostly big into the stewardship now. So we've done scholarships in the past, but we're talking about bringing back scholarship stuff for young students and stuff that want to get into the automotive industry. But we're big into the stewardship and like the Tread Lightly stuff. And we have, it's a question that's down, and I'll save that for later, but we're mostly pushing for the stewardship and giving back to the off-road community, be it Jeeps, Toyotas, hunting, fishing. I mean, anybody. We want to get that money back and help out clean up trails and make sure we don't lose access. So Ben doesn't have to go in with a Sawzall and cut chains. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that stuff's protected for Ben specifically.
Tear down this gate.
Yeah. We don't want stuff gated off,
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge for us.
So you guys showed off a very sweet Jeep Gladiator this year at SEMA. Where do you guys, and it was the JTE.
Yep.
Where do you guys see electrification going in the off-road world? Here's a picture of it.
Look at that thing.
Is that a Gladiator or is that a Brute AV?
It's not. No, well, it's none of the above. It's a JL. So
it's a Wrangler.
Oh.
Yeah. So we took a 4-door 4xe Wrangler, Rubicon, and Greg out at off-road or unofficial use only in Michigan. He and I worked on this project together. It was our second SEMA build together. And we were like, let's make a 2-door. Everybody says they want a 2-door pickup, right? They want it every time the Gladiator comes up. The comments are filled with you like, give me a 2-door, give me a 2-door, give me a 2-door. We've talked to Mark Allen about it. He's never going to make one right? So we were like, well, why don't we just make one? And Greg spent some years working for AV. He worked on the Brute project, so he knows kind of how that goes. So what we did is we, took the brand new 4-door 4xe, cut it in half. We bought all the like crash repair panels from Jeep to make that they're their Gladiator cab closeouts. So it's all factory sheet metal that we use to make this work. We cut a hard top in half and Greg did it and, made it work. So we still have functional Freedom panels. The bed was extended 10.5 inches using, again, it took us 1 3/4 beds to make that one bed. So all the body lines were correct. Greg had like 880 hours in fabrication alone on that Jeep, and that's not including paint time. So yeah, it was a big deal, and it was the first heavily modified 4xe that's ever been done, and the first 2-door Gladiator. Besides, Jeep had 2 concepts that they built and took to EJS, but we went a little step further than they did. We did it with a 4xe, and then we actually used the roll cage from a Gladiator to put it in there. They never put a roll cage in theirs. So we made it as close to a factory build as possible. But yeah, as far as electrification in the off-road world, dude, it's inevitable. It's happening. And I'm not against it. At first I was like, I don't want to, I like my gas. I like my 3.6. I'd want a V8. Thank you, Terry. It is a carnivore front bumper and a carnivore rear bumper on there. But I was one of those guys, and then we built this thing, and I was like, we have to embrace it. No one's embracing it yet, and it's not stopping. So why don't we get ahead of it and embrace it and build a really cool rig out of a 4xe that no one's doing? And then I got to wheel it after SEMA, and I was like, man, I kind of like this. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, I saw the pictures Greg posted up while you guys were in Moab, and
dude, we had a blast with it. And the thing is, it's instant torque. And I know people say that, but it's a hybrid, right? So it's running a gas engine. The biggest comment we get is people are like, well, how are you going to charge it up on the trails? Well, it has a gas engine.
Yeah.
So it'll be all right. We can run it in gas once we run out of battery power. But the really cool thing about it is to run it in, it's called e-save mode, which is both battery and gas engine together. But there's a learning curve with wheeling a hybrid Jeep with electric motors in it, dude. You tap the gas in 4 low or the accelerator, and it just goes up anything you want it to.
I've had a few conversations with Andy Lilienthal, because hybrid cars, he's tested both the hybrid and the gas version, and the hybrid ones are just faster off the line because they have that instant torque, and it's like, man, that's pretty handy. And it's like, people laugh about the range of the Jeep, the 4xe. What is it? It's
22 miles.
22 miles of electric range. It's like, oh no, that's so terrible. I'm like, well, if it's
not the point.
Using it in hybrid mode, it's cool. It doesn't matter. You have that instant torque when you need it, and then you still have all the power of your gas engine. Yeah, and your gearing to help you.
Oh, dude, and we didn't even. Right, I don't think we re-geared. No, we didn't re-gear that. Because it's got 37s on it. It's not a super big lift or anything. We probably could use a re-gear on it, but the thing, it's unbelievable. I drove it, out of SEMA. We went to, the desert for a Nitto shoot for driving line. And then we drove it from there to Moab. So my first driving of it was really highway. And just getting used to the fact that you want to pass somebody on the highway, you stomp the gas, dude, and it goes scary fast, which is super cool. But then also, it's faster. So Greg, when he was building it when it was still a Wrangler, before he cut it up, he has a friend that has a 392, and they're like, hey, we should see which one's faster, right? We should do that. So they raced them, closed course, professional driver, the whole thing. I don't know if that's true, but
in Mexico,
they lined them up, and the 4xe beat the 392, for a bit. I mean, once you get the top end out of the 392,
Sure.
but off the line, smoked the 392, and they were both shocked.
So to sum up your thoughts on electrification, we should switch to now because we can charge it with solar before the aliens blow up all the refineries and we're screwed.
Exactly. Yeah. The alien balloons are coming. They're going to land on the solar panels. That's the plan, right, Coy?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to cover the solar panels, so we're fucked. And then the refineries, I don't know what happens there, but I used language. Damn it. Almost made it, guys. Almost made it. But yeah, I fully embrace it. Like now I kind of want to get a hybrid Tundra. So
yeah, I'm not super stoked with the hybrid Tundras. But I like with the Toyota side of things, they're getting ready to redo the 4Runners and the Tacomas here soon. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
I really badly want a voodoo blue Tundra.
Oh, that's a great color.
It's the best. I mean, it's nearly the same color as my Wrangler, but like I just love that blue so much, and I want a Tundra so I can tow my JK around, and just to have something to daily drive that's not a diesel Volkswagen. But yeah, like I think we got to do it, man. If they do a voodoo blue in the new Tundra with the electric, like I might do the hybrid Tundra.
There you go.
So earlier, let's see, who was it? Kyle had asked, what does Quadratec have planned for SEMA 2023? And is Greg going to be involved again?
So Greg will always be involved in our SEMA builds. I'll say that. As long as I work at Quadratec, and I think as long as our CEO is there, he's super happy with Greg. We're still talking about it, but it doesn't look like we're gonna pause our build for this year. Like I was telling you guys before the show, it's a pretty advantageous. Our next build is pretty like take the JTE and take the YJL that we built, and then like multiply it by like a whole bunch, and like we're going for like super wild and retro and like really really super cool stuff. And I just don't think we have the time to do it for this year. Like we're already too late to get it started. So that'll probably we're going to probably take this year off.
I mean, that's how you kind of do SEMA builds, though. Should you probably wait like another month and then try and get it done?
Yeah, Greg built that JTE in 90 days.
That's nuts. 90 days?
90 days. Right around
800 hours into it in 90 days.
The dude does not sleep. He's fueled by Mountain
Clearly.
Dew. Yeah,
Fueled by Mountain Dew and probably some other illegal substances.
No, he doesn't, dude. He doesn't. He barely drinks. No. He doesn't do any of that stuff. It's like Marlboro Lights, Mountain Dew. Like that's his deal.
There we go. That's
and
all.
Like working on Jeeps, dude. But he's brilliant.
No,
and trucker speed.
When he was on the show, he was he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna go do some work now." At like after the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'll probably be up for like another 3 hours." And he's on the East Coast like you are, so it's 12 o'clock there. He's like, I'll go to bed at like 3 and wake up at 5. It's like, you don't sleep, do you?
No, man. And he would send me, so he would send me messages on Facebook Messenger because he like didn't want to text me at 5 a.m. because he knew like I was sleeping. So he would just like send them on Facebook. So I would wake up during the build process with like 60 pictures of like, here's what I got done, man. Look at this. This is pretty cool. I figured out how to make this work. We were this close because of supply chain issues. We couldn't do it. It was to make that bed a dump bed, a hydraulic dump bed.
Oh,
which we were like, I was like, Greg, that's brilliant. Like we got to do that. And he just couldn't get the RAM that he needed in time. So we had to bail on that. But it does have a winch mounted underneath the bed, rear facing winch.
I would have liked it if you'd done like that early 90s mini truck thing where the bed just like went up in the air, turned sideways. And shook
I would be so super into that.
Bring it back.
Dance bed.
Yeah, dance beds. Yeah. Besides selling products, do you guys also do like installs? Do you do any of that kind of work?
Yeah, so we don't do customer installs. We do have our product development team does a lot of installing of products they're developing. And then over in our video studio, for our YouTube channel and all of our socials, our host Rob installs a ton of stuff, like step-by-step installs. Like he just did a video that was last week, was a an complete Alpine sound system, like all the speaker upgrades. So it was literally a nut and bolt step-by-step install that he does. So and we'll grab like employee Jeeps if we need stuff to install, or customers and stuff like that. But we don't do installs like a traditional shop does installs.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good way to get an upgrade on your vehicle.
Yeah, work at Quadratec.
Yeah,
and have a vehicle that we need to manufacture parts for.
Just make sure you own a newer vehicle. You'll be set.
Big time. I mean, that is a strategy that has been employed at Quadratec for a long time. A lot of brand new Jeeps.
There you go. So you got to tell me about the 50 for 50 trail cleanup. What's that all about?
Yeah, so that's another project that I've been working on for a couple years now. So we've been partners with Tread Lightly for actually this year at SEMA. It was our 30th year being partners with Tread Lightly.
Dude,
wow.
Yeah. So we were with them from the beginning, and they were with us from the beginning. So and we've kept that alive, and now it's kind of gone to me and there's a guy named Evan that works at Tread Lightly, and him and I met on the trails in Moab, and we've kind of kept the torch alive. You guys have probably talked to Evan.
Yeah, I think we had Evan on.
Yeah, Evan's great. So Evan and I kind of started within like a couple months or maybe a year of each other at our different jobs, and we've kind of like worked on this stuff for a long time. And Evan and I were trying to figure out a way to go bigger. And the CEO of Quadratec kind of taxes, he just assigned, he's like, hey guys, like, yes, Tread Lightly, we love it. We're never going to stop. Let's do it big though. Like, how do we do it big? And he's like, what about 50 projects in a year? And I went like, what, in a year? And Tread Lightly did the same thing. They were like, we can't do that in a year. So we settled on 2 years. We were doing a trail project in every one of the states over 2 years. And that's what the JTE was built as a tie-in to that. Like, they have that right now. It's in San Diego. It was just at Hammers, cleaning up out there. But yeah, so we've got 14 states completed as of right now. We have a lot coming up on the East Coast. And like I mentioned earlier, my brother just got, he's been a contractor with Tread Lightly for a little while, but now he's a full-time project manager for them for the East Coast region, which I think actually goes all the way out to Michigan. But so he's got a lot of, and then he pretty much came on when the 50 for 50 stuff happened because it's so many projects. And if you look if you go to our website and you can click on the 50 for 50 banner, you can see all the completed trails. We've got pictures and write-ups from them. We've kind of got a lot on the West Coast, a lot on the East Coast, and like we're filling in the middle. We've got Alaska's been done already. We have not done Oregon yet, guys.
I'm excited about that.
I saw you about Washington done. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you're doing in Oregon?
So that's a Tread Lightly question. I think they've got a signage project, and I can look at our spreadsheet and tell you.
Browns.
You guys might know.
While you do that, I'm going to mention here real quickly that we had Tread Lightly on episode 292, so 98 episodes ago. So 2 years ago, Tread Lightly was on, and it was Matt Cadwell that we had.
Not Caldwell. Yeah. He's the executive director. Yeah.
Well, and then shortly after that, I believe we had Evan on too to talk about how you can.
Oh, I think you're right. That's right. We did do 2 back-to-back episodes, not necessarily back-to-back, but yeah, close.
Yeah. So Matt is the executive director. I work with Matt a whole bunch. We talk constantly, and Evan. So it looks like we've got an Oregon. We don't have the date for it yet, but it's Nestucca OHV area. No idea what that is. Nestucca, Nest.
Nestucca.
Nestucca. Okay.
And Lake.
All right.
Could be. It could be. The Nestucca River is like southwest of Browns Camp, just to give you an idea. And it heads out to the ocean.
That's Sand Lake recreational area, or right by it.
Yeah, so basically what happens with 50 for 50 is Tread Lightly, so we fund it and we're involved in a bunch of them, but Tread Lightly really, they go through and talk to all the land management companies, the BLMs, the state forests and stuff like that, and they agree on the projects and figure it out. And then if we've got people we can get out to it, that's awesome. Tread Lightly always sends somebody out to them. Not always. We didn't send anybody to Alaska, which I think was a missed opportunity to send me. But Hawaii is still coming up, so maybe there's hope.
There you go.
But yeah, the projects are fully funded by Quadratec, managed by Tread Lightly. We're doing a lot of great stuff out there. I've got a couple stats. So we've got 14 projects done, 4,516 and a half volunteer hours. We're at 78,000 pounds of trash so far. And miles of trail improved so far with 14 states is 452.2.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
So the deal is like not all of our projects are trash cleanup projects. We've done that for years, and we always do that anyway. But we want to also improve the trails as far as like, cutting new trails. We like doing signage stuff and about responsible recreation on some of these, off-road trail areas or trailheads, or even the off-road parks. They need, we like I said earlier, we want to educate the customer and try to keep the stewardship going so we don't lose access to these places because of people dumping refrigerators and tires, and Coy just dumping tires instead of selling them for $250. You know what I mean? Like, sell them, Coy. Don't just dump them in the woods. Or
burn them. Don't burn them either.
Yeah, I mean, burn one or two, but not all of them. I didn't say that. The nature guys are gonna piss me for that. Now we pull a ton. Like, that's another big thing is we should be counting the tires that we pull out of these projects, man, because there's so many tires in the woods. I mean, you guys have seen it probably everywhere you wheel, dude.
The Gambler 500 guys, they had a whole bin. I want to say it was the Snoqualmie the Olympic National Forest.
Yeah,
they pulled out a container, like one of the shipping, the big ones. I think it's a 35-yard one, full of tires. That's what it was tires.
Just all tires, dude. It's insane.
I'm surprised I don't see more vehicles driving around missing tires with the amount of tires that they found. Like, if you're leaving the woods missing a tire, what's going on here?
Well, we found and actually the worst part is like we found on one of these trail projects or Tread Lightly, or maybe my brother or somebody found this dump of, like, it was all tractor trailer tires. Like, just someone just pulled off the side of the trail in the woods and just dumped a load of, hundreds of tractor trailer tires that, and that means that's a commercial business doing that, right?
Yeah.
That's not just some guy that drove his F-250 out there and pushed him out of the back, or maybe he drove his F-250, but he's a business owner, or at least involved with that. And that's the worst, man.
What's even worse is, like, that shuts down the trails, and then, we go out and clean that up, or other people, these groups have to go clean it up. I would say those businesses, if you just go out at night and just dump them in the middle of a road, then the county or the state highway has to come clean those up, and your taxes pay for it. And then they're not going to close that road. So just dump them, not in the middle, but to the side of a road. So it's obstructed, and they'll come take care of it.
Right on the hard shoulder. So it's easy to load,
Same with old cars. Just get it into the traffic a little bit and they'll tow it away.
That is responsible recreation, if I've ever heard it. Do it on the roads, guys. Come on. Do it where they drag race, right? Illegal street racing.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the Energize the Environment program?
Yeah, for sure. So that's actually one that we've been running for a long time, and it's smaller grants, and it's one-time grants that off-road clubs can apply for, or anyone can apply for it. Like, just Coy, you could just go like, I want to try to get this grant to improve, a trail that's by my house, or clean up a trail, and you just apply for it. And there's, you email us, and then we send it on to Tread Lightly, and they kind of, figure out the logistics of it, how much we can send over, and how much how much can get done with that $3,500. And we do that twice a year. So, there's, colleges, there's a lot of colleges out there that do it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be motorized recreation. I think that's the big thing we need. A lot of people use off-road vehicles, Forerunners, Tacomas, Jeeps, everything to get to, a fishing spot or a hunting spot that they want to go to. Well, why wouldn't we want to help those guys too? Because they're still the ones that are helping clean up and help retain the access. It's not just it's those guys doing it type of thing. It's like we all need to get involved and take care of it so we don't lose the access.
That's a very mature way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm not that mature.
It's
but
not. It's the side. It is the side by side guys, though. I know
It's
that.
always the side by
Always.
side.
Oh,
Oh
those side
my
by
God.
side guys. Oh,
We can all agree to that.
Have you read? I have to bring this up. Was it 3D Trail in Moab? There's one spot. I don't remember what it was. One of the overlooks or something. There's a tree where you can tell that you turned around there, and you can just see the side by sides. I tried to take a picture of it because they have gone around that and dug such a berm. Like if I drove my truck in there, it'd flop.
Yeah. So we
it
actually
looks like fun, but
that one actually there was one before that that we actually worked with Tread Lightly one year to fence it off, and the BLM because literally it was this, and we pulled up to it to make the repair, and we took Jeeps and trucks out full of fencing materials and signage and stuff like that. And as we pull up with the BLM in our Jeep, and there's dudes just ripping donuts around this tree, and she's like, here's what we're talking about. And the BLM doesn't have enough staff to enforce it, so the only thing they can do is close it off and then hope it'll fill it back in. And we did a lot of raking that day, like raking sand back into and we didn't even make a dent, dude. It was insane.
The one I'm thinking of, you'd need a backhoe. Like even then it'd take a while. It looked like they're trying to make one of those circle of death motorcycle things where you drive in a circle. That's what it was like. Like it was a 45-degree bank at least.
That's insane. It's such a shame, man. And it just takes, a couple guys doing that for a while to dig it out. And then everyone that drives by is like, oh, I got to get in on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all love doing donuts, but donut responsibly.
It's not even really donuts. It's like getting that high bank it's like NASCAR stuff where you just get way up on the bank.
It's straight up Talladega, dude.
Yeah.
It's Florida man's fault then. Okay.
100%.
all right. I got one more question here about Quadratec,
Yes,
and
sir?
it might not even be about Quadratec. So in a video I just watched about you guys at SEMA, you were talking about the wheels, and I believe you were showing off. I'm going to pull that picture up here again, showing off these wheels specifically. I think you called them gun barrel or something like that.
Trail gunners.
Trail gunners. Hey, I knew it
Lynx-
had guns in there.
Yeah, it's the Lynx Trail Gunner.
Yeah. But you
Is
then
that
transition.
on tail gunner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
The guy, I think it was Rob, then transitioned to mentioning that you guys are making wheels that fit Broncos, and then you're also making other parts that fit Broncos. So how does that work?
Sure.
Quadratec has always been about Jeeps, just Jeep stuff, Mopar.
Yep.
How's that work?
So it was a tough decision. We went back and forth for a while about it. But yeah, so that Trail Gunner wheel, we displayed it on our Bronco at SEMA, where the Stallion 4x4, which is our sister company. But that actually Lynx Trail Gunner wheel won an award at SEMA for a new product, which we're pretty excited about.
Nice.
But yeah, so we went back and forth for a while about how we handle this, and we did a customer survey and went like, hey, you guys gonna be mad if we start selling Bronco stuff? Because like we're gonna sell Bronco stuff, so you guys gonna be mad if it's on Quadratec, or like what do you think we should do? And it was like overwhelmingly like, please don't sell it on Quadratec. And so we were like, okay. So Stallion 4x4 then became the thing. We announced it a couple years ago. I think SEMA 21 we announced it that it was coming. And so that's actually it's going to be really soon. So we've been developing products for it. We wanted to make sure we had a really strong showing in our portfolio of products ready to go for the Bronco. So we've got bumpers, we've got floor liners coming, we've got suspension stuff. What else do we have? We have some really cool products that I shouldn't talk about yet, but
what are those delete things on the hood tie down thing deletes?
Yeah, so if you've ever, I don't know if you guys have ever driven one of the new Broncos. It's not fun. I'm not into it personally.
Yeah,
but
it sounds terrible. It sounds terrible.
But they have these like trail sites on the what's that?
So it must suck driving a brand new $65,000 off-road vehicle. Must be terrible.
We drove it in Moab too.
off road, yeah, I definitely don't. No.
It's not what we're so used to Jeeps and we know how the Jeeps handle and it works. But so they have those like big trail sights on the sides of the hood, which is like a big tie down point, but it's like really big and like kind of blocks your view a little bit. So our product designer came up with this idea of it's a trail sight delete, but you don't want to lose that tie down spot. So it's pretty cool. It's flat with the hood, and then you push the one end of it and it pops open and there's tie downs in there. So you can tie your kayaks or your, whatever you want to tie down.
Tie a deer on the hood.
Tie a deer on the hood for sure. But yeah, so we have those coming. That's a pretty cool product. We've got soft tops. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff for it. But the bumpers, I think, are a really sharp looking bumper for a Bronco.
Well, I have one last question, not for Eric from Quadratec, but Eric, the Jeep guy.
Yeah.
Why is the Rubicon Jeep better than Sahara Jeep? Because I'm just saying, like, if I was taking a Jeep to Sahara Desert, I think I'd want it better than a trail. And I decided I'm going to ask this question to every Jeep guy from now on.
You mean so like technically what's better, or
no? I just mean, why would you name your best one Rubicon?
The trail.
And like your second or third model down, you're like, hey, biggest desert in the world over here. That's like massive expedition that lots of people die in. That's like third from the best.
That's from us talking to like the product development team that did like the Rubicon and stuff. That's where they test prove all these vehicles, right? So they take the Jeeps, and the whole idea of the Rubicon was that it could run the Rubicon Trail from the factory, from the dealership floor. And so like that's their benchmark for testing. They take all their test mules there.
So, but my theory is then the Sahara one could run the Sahara.
Definitely not. I mean, comfortably. You would be very comfortable with your leather seats and your color matched fenders.
Color matched fenders,
Desert.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the leather seats, because everybody knows leather's better in hot weather. It doesn't
in the
burn.
desert, you definitely want leather. I'm told. Not a leather guy.
It's a question as somebody who doesn't own a Jeep that I've been wondering for a while. So I've decided every Jeep guy I'm asking about.
I wish I had a better answer, and I wish I knew that question was coming, because I would have made up something totally ridiculous.
Well, I want you next time you talk to like an official at Jeep, just bring that up for me. Just be like, hey, I got a guy.
100% do that.
That'll totally throw him for a loop.
And he'll just blame it on someone 20 years ago, because now it's the 20th anniversary of it.
Or just pretend like they actually do it. So be like, so I know you run the Rubicon. So like when do you guys run the Sahara? I'd love to come along sometime.
Let's do. I want to be on that product testing trip. Can we do that?
Well, one of the trims level now is the Mojave. So
yeah.
Where's that rank up?
But that one's actually makes sense because it's like a desert runner.
Exactly.
But like, I'm with you, Coy, dude. I have no idea why that. And also the people's inability to say Sahara versus Sahara versus Sahara. Like, it's insane, the things I hear.
Well, that about wraps it up. But before you go, where can our listeners find out more about Quadratec and maybe the whole umbrella? Because it sounds like there's Stallion and you mentioned a couple others.
Yeah, so we've got. So I'll answer that part quickly. So the our all of our house brands, or our brands under our umbrella we've got a lot. Rescue is our recovery stuff. Lost Canyon is our overlanding type stuff. We've got Lynx suspension and wheels. I know I'm forgetting a ton of them. Stealth. We've got ultimate floor liners. We've got a whole bunch of different brands, and I'm definitely missing some of them, and I can't.
Tonneau covers.
Yeah, Tactic. Oh, so Tactic's one of our big brands. So that's a lot of stuff. Like we have the tonneau covers in there. We've got floor liners, headlights. We've got a lot of stuff, and it's primarily for Jeep, but we're starting to get out past that. So that's why we broke them off into sub brands. They were all just Quadratec before. So then we're like, well, we're going to sell them to Broncos too. That name means nothing to the Bronco world. In fact, I do Carnivore. Thank you, Mark. Carnivore is a big one for our bumpers and armor. But you can find all those on quadratec.com. We've got them all listed there. as far as finding us on the internet, quadratec.com is the spot. You can check out our Torque blog. And that's got all of our content-based stuff and all of our knowledge center stuff that you guys were talking about earlier. And all the social medias, we're Diver Down. Thank you, Terry. This is why Terry is wonderful. He's not just the road dog. He knows all the brands too. Diver Down are our neoprene seat covers. They're a great Jeep seat cover. But yeah, all of our social media stuff is just, /Quadratec or @Quadratec. Check out our YouTube channel for sure. We've got stuff. I said Lost Canyon, Terry. We've got giveaways going on all those platforms. But right now we're giving away some rescue recovery kits on there. So our brand new recovery kits. If you go onto our YouTube channel and watch any of the recent videos, it tells you how to enter. It's commenting, subscribing, and all that stuff. So we're giving away a bunch of those.
The best thing about recovery gear is that it's not just for Jeep owners. So people who aren't Jeep owners can have it to help tow those Jeeps out.
I was gonna say Jeep owners probably use it more.
I'll say that I've never had to be recovered in my Jeep, but I have pulled Toyotas out of the woods.
I've been recovered by a Jeep and a Toyota, and what goes around comes around.
Yep, I've been recovered by everybody and on the back of a AAA truck a few times. So.
Yeah, including AAA.
Yep. No helicopters yet.
Yet.
It's a goal of mine now. Not really. That'd be an expensive mess up.
Helicopter, yeah.
Helicopter, yeah. My wife would not be happy with that one.
That's a hefty bill.
No, not. I'd probably just be better staying out where it's broken and living there and becoming
I've seen your 4Runner. Just leave it and get a different one if you have to chopper it out.
The insurance company probably be like, it's not worth the chopper cost.
Yeah, just pull the plates, scratch out the call tread lightly. Like, someone abandoned a vehicle out here.
We have been pulling vehicles out of the woods with these 50 for 50 projects too.
Oh yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everyone who listens to us weekly and also those who watch us live on YouTube. Your interactions, we were on fire tonight. So many comments. I love it. Aaron loves it. Coy, he kind of loves it. Eric loved it. And also thanks to, Terry, Scott, Kyle, who joined us tonight. We really appreciate you and the rest of the listeners, and share us with our friends. Share us with your friends. Help us grow. And also, don't forget tomorrow's Valentine's, so probably a good time to go get your wife flowers if you've forgotten already. And God bless America. I've got to go do that now.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve to see all their great gear. We're a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a comment or question? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.net or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe, and courteous. Thanks for listening.
Ben, please drop this show tomorrow so that everybody hears that Valentine's Day is tomorrow. They're like, "Ooh, got one more day," and then they all buy
One more day.
Day late.